So as many of you know, the last weekend we had the Call of Duty Alpha for Black Ops Cold War that was exclusively played on PlayStation, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my thoughts and hopefully some ideas that will be going into the open beta, which actually starts next week on the 9th. Now, before I start, I will also say I'm going to be streaming on the Sunday, as I do not have pre-ordered and I have to wait till all the open access for PlayStation, but we'll get into that later. But if you do want to come and see me stream, I have a schedule of I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and a dual stream Thursdays is what I'm going to start calling that, where I do 2 streams on Thursdays, and if not, I will do the 2 streams on the following day and whatnot. There's a link down in the description to my Twitch channel. If you want to hit that follow button and turn on the bell so you know when I go live. Same with the YouTube channel, just hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, and also be sure to hit that like button so you know that this video gets pushed further into YouTube's algorithm, and hopefully more people will see it. So in today's video we're going to be talking about a few different my thoughts on some of the mechanics in such as modes, maps, guns, skill-based matchmaking. We'll get into that later. It's not going to be a fun one to do, I know. And just some general bugs and fixes that I'm hoping to see going to the beta. Now, I will also say I know that this is an alpha, so not everything is going to be perfect to what you would think it would be, but hopefully this is just a food for thought type of thing, so what we can see if there's actually been any changes going from the alpha that happened last weekend going to the beta that's going to be happening next week. So if you, like I said before, if you did want to enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe those notifications on. But on that, let's get started. And if you want to see a particular section of the video, I will just add this in now. I will have everything timestamped, and I will have a list that will come up on screen of all the different topics we're going to cover. And if you want to skip to a certain section or come back to it, or just start whatever, I will have a full timestamps in the description. We'll just show each section of the video. And as well on screen. And in today's video, I'll just put this in now, you're going to see a mix between Modern Warfare and Cold War gameplay. That's just because I feel that the highlights that I showed, I didn't get enough, and I didn't feel that they were good enough to be posted onto this channel. So you're going to see a mix between gameplay, but it's also going to show some evidence between look at the difference between the two and how they correlate as one another. So yeah, just to let you know about that as well. But on that, let's jump into the video. So to start off, we're going to start with the maps. So in total, we had 5 maps, 3 of the, what would you say, normal multiplayer maps, and then 2 of the combined operations / ground war type situational maps. First off, some of the maps are very vibrant, very colourful, and that's obviously to be expected from Treyarch. They've always been known for that sort of style, especially they try to avoid some of the similar to World War II, where they've gone for the gritty, grey and dark style maps. I think some of them have obviously been a lot more colourful than others, but overall I think the maps were really well done, except for one, which is, of course, I think everyone would say this, is Miami. Now, Miami, in my head, I think it's too dark in a way. It's not, it's still well lit up, but it's just also at the same time it's very difficult to try and see enemies, and it's also sometimes just a maze of trying to get around and trying to find people. I think I spent the first game was on Miami, and I think it took me nearly 2 or 3 minutes to actually find someone from the enemy team. So what I'm hoping is that obviously Black Ops 4 and even Black Ops 3 with some of the maps, is that I hope that they're going into the beta and even the launch, that they'll implement some day and night cycle maps. So you've got, like, you had Fringe, you had Firing Range, what else was there? I think it was Hacienda was another one, Seaside. All those that had day and night variants. So I'm hoping going into it that they're going to implement some of those ideas going into the launch. And as well as speaking about maps, the rest are fine. I didn't have a problem with it, except for the combined operations, where you had I think it was the 2 ships, I can't remember, I think it was just called Atlantic. I didn't get to play on the snowy forest map, but it never came up for me when I was playing. But I feel that needs to be put to 16v16, or I think it was 12v12 to start with, but I think it needs to be raised up because it was just way too, it was way too slow, and it was very hard trying to find people as well, which also didn't make it very enjoyable. But yeah. So for each of the modes inside of the Black Ops Cold War Alpha, there we had Team Deathmatch, Domination, Kill Confirmed, and Hardpoint for the 6v6. And for the combined operations, we had the Domination inside of the Armada map, and I believe it was the same for Crossroads as well. So the next topic I'm going to cover is going to be, it's going to be its own topic. It's actually going to be the spawns overall for each of the matches. I think the spawns are actually a lot better than what we had this year, or last year going into this year with Modern Warfare, especially if you summon some of those close quarter maps. It was not an enjoyable experience. It was felt going towards more catering towards for campers, especially with going into the launch and with some of the map designs, but we're not going to get into that. We're here for Cold War. I felt that spawns need to be refined just a little bit so it doesn't they're not constantly swapping every few minutes, so it just makes it easier for players to actually get into gunfights and just be able to get those high kill games and whatnot. And also some of them I think need to be, depending on where they're actually placed inside of each of the maps, they need to be moved. So it's not, you don't want to have campers, but you don't also want to make sure that you can still be able to counter anyone that comes behind you, if that makes any sense. But other than that, I think also it needs to have it so there's a bit of a delay. And for some maps, especially if this could be close quarter maps, there needs to be a bit of a delay, like a few second delay before you can just spawn back in. The next thing I also want to talk about on top of with the spawns is actually some of the movement mechanics, especially with the sliding. And there wasn't really that much problem with the mantling, but I feel that the sliding mechanic, I think they said they were going to nerf it a little bit. They nerfed it when they had the showcase. I feel that they should keep it at what it is at the moment, and because I feel it's still at a good balance where it's not going to be where you're just sliding halfway across the map. You're actually stopping at a reasonable distance before you have to go back up running, and it's slide cancelling pretty much. So I think there is a good balance at the moment, but I think if later date it may get nerfed again. Not too sure, but we'll just have to wait and see going into the beta. So the next topic we're going to get into is actually the kill streaks that were shown, that we were able to use inside of the alpha last weekend. There was a reasonable amount of kill streaks that you go use. That I think would be the chopper gunner being the max, the highest one you can get. With that, I would say that some need refining, especially with the cooldown timers, especially I think with artillery being the primary one, because if you saw a lot of my stream, it was just constant barrages, one after another, of just artillery, and I think it needs to have a bit of a longer cooldown than what they originally put in for the alpha. I think hopefully that they could implement a little. I'm not sure what the cooldown was for it because I never really used it, but I think it was probably say like a 5 or 10 seconds longer. I think it would have made the games a little bit more enjoyable, and it's not catered to some of those who just like to sit back and spawn and just try to fire off as many artillery barrages as they can in a single game. So hopefully that they can just refine some of those timers and delays. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the guns and overall gameplay, how it felt. I think even playing on a base generation PS4, it still felt very smooth. I didn't really feel like there was any latency issues, and some of the guns felt, or a majority of the guns actually felt very balanced. except for a few. Obviously, it's just like, with the AK-74U, the XM4, with some of the snipers, which they did say they were going to nerf, but I feel that that's one of the things they probably could leave for the time being, because it's not really a meta weapon yet, and I don't think it may turn into that, but we don't know, because obviously there's going to be a whole other bunch of weapons that are going to be added into at the launch. So at this moment in time, I think snipers are fine as they are. I think that the XM4 and the AK-74U need a damage nerf, or a range nerf as well, just because I think I was beaming people halfway across the map with that thing, and it was absolutely insane. And the final topic is going to be something that I'm not going to really be looking forward to talking about, because obviously this has been a very highly debatable topic between the gaming community across a number of titles. This isn't just including like Call of Duty. It's a number of titles that you could actually categorize this particular feature, and how it changes the player base as a majority, and how people feel that developers obviously aren't thinking about the overall longevity and how they could actually improve the experience for each of the players. They think that this is just an easy way out, instead of like having to add a ranked playlist, which I know a lot of people have asked for years and years to be put back in. This is obviously going to be skill-based matchmaking. Now, this is obviously even caused a lot of debate, that it was trending on Twitter, that on, I think it was Sunday last week. So it was just closing, it was the closing day, or the day before the alpha ended. This was trending on Twitter, and I think anything I saw on that was all negative. There was never any positive notes to how this was positively affecting the community. Now, this, like I said, this is going across a whole range of titles. This isn't just Call of Duty, but yeah, this is going. I feel that if this is still going to be the norm, this is what's going to drive away a lot of players, because especially for myself, I have been getting very burnt out playing Modern Warfare, especially with the high level of skill-based matchmaking. Now, I don't mind casual pub stopping and getting destroyed, but it's just the constant put up against sweats after sweats after sweats, and it just doesn't become enjoyable anymore, and you just feel like you haven't always constantly on your guard. You can't enjoy yourself. You just have to be thinking, oh, okay, I've got to be playing a lot more tactical than I usually do. So obviously this is going to be cause a lot of debate. For my thoughts personally, I feel that this feature obviously needs to be heavily refined, if not removed as such, because even the developer, I think from Call of Duty themselves, said that they had skill-based matchmaking back in 2011, and it was that it was working in the background, but it wasn't as heavily influenced as it is today. Especially when you see it had it against Fortnite. I think Siege has it, or they used to have it. I'm not too sure. Apex is another one. Call of Duty, obviously, that's what I'm talking about today, and a whole number of titles that have been affected by this one feature that seems to be drawing more and more people away from this community. And yeah. So overall, for my thought on this is that I feel that they need to add what they have similar to other games, is to put in a casual playlist, and then you've got like your normal playlist. And so it's just the way it works. It'll probably, my thoughts is it's going to refine it. So it's just people who aren't looking to like I said, pub stomp and just look up to get high kills. It's just like, just have an enjoyable time with their friends, and just sit back and relax and just play some games, not have to worry about like what I said before, like sweats and just like having a high level of players with the skill levels are out of this world, and also not have to think about it so heavily that's going to affect their overall KD if that's what they really care about, and then they want to maintain that kind of like a high status pretty much. Besides all the negative that I've talked about in this video, especially in regards to the skill-based matchmaking, I believe that this was a step in the right direction. Obviously, there was a lot of tuning that needs to be done, such as what I didn't get a chance to talk about, like the vehicle tuning, which I feel like I'll probably do in another time, as well as among another whole range of things. But I felt that it'd be too short to be putting into this video, as this video is probably already long enough. It's not. I think it'll be close to 20 minutes when this is go live. But overall, I think the map voting in between matches, but I think that was because we had such limited number of maps for the alpha that they only had a choice between 2. Hopefully that'll be put to 3, because I feel that'd be the optimum number to choose between the different variety of maps, especially with game modes. But I think that's going to do it for today's video. So obviously, if you did go on to enjoy this video and you found any informative value whatsoever, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below, because I want to know what your thoughts are on all this, because obviously some of these topics that we talked about today are highly debatable, and obviously there will be some thoughts that other people think otherwise. I think the skill-based matchmaking is going to be a very debatable topic, especially with some of the things I brought up today. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. But also be sure to hit that subscribe button with the notifications on. Also, be sure to go follow my stream. This will be the last reminder I have, and I will not pester you about it ever again. That the beta obviously is starting next week. I'm not inclined to pay anything. Say any of this. I just feel like it would be easier just to get that out. So yeah, October 9th, it will also depend where you live, so it could start the day late, it could start day early. But yeah, October 9th to the 12th is the open beta. Obviously, the first 2 days, if you pre-ordered, you'll get the early access. We'll hopefully have some gameplay going up following week. As always, I will see you in the next video.